and to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition. It's Wednesday night. I'm your host, Stevie, alongside Kodi Maurice Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. That wasn't the police coming for me, darling. Don't worry, okay?
Good. If so, tell him to take an hour break and then come and get you.
Okay, good. All right. I'll deliver the message. We'll see how it goes.
This is episode 401. 401. We are in front of a live virtual audience. Go ahead and say hi in the chat there so you know you're there. Feel free to weigh in, ask questions, and we've got a full show to get to. You know, it's kicking things off. We are getting to all of the tea. There's so much to get into.
Oh,
but
my
before we
goodness.
do, it is Hispanic Heritage Month. And, you
Mhm.
know, one of my newer favorite artists is Omar Apollo. You may have heard, we talked about him recently. He is, originally when he came out, he said he was gender fluid. And more recently, he said, I'm gay. Which
Mhm.
I love. He was recently,
Yeah.
we reported over the summertime, vacationing or on holiday with Frank Ocean. And
Ooh.
not sure if they're linked up or not, but I'm a huge fan. I really love his current album. And over at NPR, they have a thing called the Tiny Desk Concert. It's literally at a little desk. And
Uh-huh.
he kicked off Latin X Heritage Month, as they're calling it, September 15th to October 15th. I like the change from Hispanic Heritage to Latinx Heritage Month, right, Kodi?
Love it. Love it.
He took it over. I watched the 18-minute concert. I will post it on TAGSPodcast.com. He had a mariachi band behind him. He did
Oh.
R&B hits like Evergreen, which is such a good one, where he's talking about another man in there. So I love his voice. He's my current crush right now. I'm just in love with
Okay.
Omar Apollo. I think he's so great. And he's currently on tour. So you can check him out in his city in the States here. So check him out. But I will post this video of his Latin X tiny concert over at NPR on tagspodcast.com. Okay,
Can't wait to
well,
check it out.
yes, you got to check it out. So good. Okay, so much to talk about, but you may have heard meteorologist here in New York City, Erick Adame, has been fired from his gig over at New York One for allegedly, or for actually going on webcam sites for the last 10 years. And apparently,
Mhm.
somebody screen captured him naked. And not only did they send it over to his bosses at New York One Spectrum,
Mhm.
but they also sent it to his mother. Now,
Yes.
I just, little known fact, I actually watch his weather. I get my weather report here in New York almost every morning
He's
by
your
Eric.
weatherman.
He's my weatherman, and I wish he's very cute. In fact, I remember several years ago, I was like, huh, who's this guy? Is he cute? I'm like, oh no, he's cute. And I follow him on Instagram. And
Yeah.
I often get up really early and I don't get out of bed, but I listen to either CNN or I've got New York One, or as they're calling it, Spectrum, New York One now. And I listen to him and I always get, because here in New York, we always need to know our weather, right? You cannot go out the
Yeah.
door unless you know what the weather
I
report
mean,
is. So I definitely,
it's a recipe for disaster.
I even knew he was on vacation in Europe over the summer, so he was not on for the last couple weeks. And I'm like, what is going on? He
Mhm.
just got back from vacation. It would be like if we took off and like, where are they?
Yeah.
On
I
Wednesday night.
agree.
They better have a damn good excuse for not talking about sex.
That's
So here I
right.
was, my weatherman, and lo and behold, as I scoured the websites for hot topics for our show, the top story was this, and I was floored. I almost dropped my hot coffee. Shut up! I almost did an Elaine and pushed my laptop away from me like Elaine always did.
On
Get out of
Seinfeld?
here from Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, I don't really watch that show,
Oh, I
but
loved
I
huge
know
Seinfeld
I
fan.
love her though,
Okay, but
Julia
let's get
Louise
back to
Dreyfus.
this because there's so
Okay,
much to break
sorry.
down about this. You know, kind of crazy. I actually sent a message over to him in the comments section as he posted a very lengthy apology and to his fellow coworkers for actually calling it compulsive behavior. He says that that's actually what his psychiatrist called it, compulsive behavior, that
Hmm.
he has had, according to Erick, for the last 10 years. He also says some might consider it reckless and stupid, and I cannot argue with that. He also apologized for that, but then said he does not apologize for being gay or for being sex positive. And I actually wrote in the comment section, you know, there's a shining light coming on the other end. Hang in
Yeah,
there. I support you. And yes, I agree that good for you for owning your sex positivity.
yeah.
But on the other hand, I couldn't help but think, as so many of us that work in some form, I've worked in various forms of media, always
Hmm.
it's to try and get represented on TV, y'all,
Yeah.
is such a huge feat. He is Mexican American like myself too. And, I just thought it was really cool that he was on TV and somebody that looked like me. He talked about how he's the first one in his family to go to college, much less be on TV. And it's a
Yeah.
big deal. And I know all the weight shouldn't always be on people and you better not fuck up, but he kind of fucked up. Not because he
Yeah.
was sex positive, not because he has a sex life. How could we say that on this show?
I
But
mean,
because
we
the
would be
nature,
hypocrites if we said
you'd
that.
be
Yeah.
hypocritical. But
Yeah.
because of the fact that you are on morning TV, that is a conservative platform, that how could you let yourself, even if it's consensual, that you're being recorded when you're on webcams. And the way people are today, people love to capture that stuff. Now, I'll let you speak in just a second, but I
Yeah.
do think it was nasty and revenge porn of the person, and they should be held accountable to send it in to
Hmm.
I mean, how disgusting are you that you would do that? I have a story to back it up in a minute, but I'm going to let you talk. And then to
Okay.
send it to his mother. How low can you go, Kodi?
I know that. I would be out for blood if somebody sent something like that to my mama. So, okay, so let's break it down. Unlike you, I did not know who this man was. I'm sorry to this man. I don't
No,
mean
it's
I
a
don't
yeah,
mean to
right.
sound ridiculous, but I from what I know of him and from what I've read about him, it really is a shame. And he seems like such a nice guy.
Yeah.
But he seems to be wrestling with a lot of demons. At first, I thought that his firing was uncalled for. I even texted you and Jeremy and said a simple suspension would have just sufficed, and that should have been that. I don't understand. I didn't understand the hullabaloo and the hubbub behind the firing and all of that and the things of that nature. But the more research that I did, because I tried to find the pictures, Blake also tried to find them,
Watching us,
and
right? Hi,
yeah,
Blake.
but I couldn't find them. But I did find out a lot of different things regarding this, and it's all alleged. And I do not know because it's so hard to find the video, so I don't know if any of these things are true, and I don't want anybody to take my words as fact. But allegedly, how it goes is he was on this webcam site. It was I think it's a circle jerk on LPSG, which I used to frequent a lot, and I've even considered going on the circle jerk a couple of times. But and I think that what he had on his shirt on his chest was his name, and he also made reference to his boss during the webcam.
That
Uh,
allegedly he wanted his boss to fuck him.
yes, during his webcam stream. And I think that where he went wrong and the whole firing issue of it was the fact that he took somebody that wasn't involved and involved them, an unwilling and unknowing basically party that and took his boss's name dragged it into this whole situation that he had going on. I think that if he hadn't done that, then a suspension probably would have been the outcome. And I don't want to, like you said, I don't want to shame anybody for being sex positive or doing things that I probably have done in the past. But once you involve a third party that doesn't know or is unwilling participant, basically, then that is when it becomes a whole nother animal. So I really feel bad for him, but I can't really justify his actions.
Yeah, and can keep your thoughts going too. I just wanted to jump in here really quickly because one of the things the New York Post said, a source with Spectrum News told the Post, excuse me, the situation is more, quote, the situation is more complicated than it appears, noting that the company worked with Adame for months on this issue before he was fired. You know, that's a source close to the New York Post. Take it with a grain of salt, but if that is
everything
true,
is alleged. Yes.
If that is true, this didn't just happen the other day. And it does seem a little like there was more to the story than maybe just the pictures and him being on a webcam site. And I have heard companies talk about there is a way to fire somebody if you have done something that embarrasses the company at large, particularly for companies like a Spectrum, companies that people know that are out in the public hemisphere. And, you know, on the same note, people that have had scandals, do you know Richard Quest over at CNN? If you've been watching CNN at all for the Queen's funeral recently, you saw Richard Quest. Back in 2008, he had a huge scandal where he was arrested in New York Central Park with drugs in his pocket, a rope around his neck, and he was tied to his genitals, and a sex toy, a dildo, was inside his bottom. It all happened when the park was
You better
closed.
call it like you see it, girl.
3:40 a.m. on a Friday. That's when they found Richard Quest. You know, at the time, he survived this whole. CNN brought him back, actually, and he actually had to go to get drug therapy. What do you call it? Rehab. He had to have rehab.
Yes. Yep.
As well as, but he got his job back based on that. Jeffrey Toobin, the recent one who is caught jerking off on a Zoom call and working for the New Yorker, and he thought his Zoom camera was off. It wasn't. He got fired from the New Yorker because that's who he was alleged. That's what he was doing, the deed, jerking off. But CNN suspended him but brought him back. And lastly, back in the day, in the early 90s, I worked for a major...
in the 90s, girl?
In the 90s, I worked for a major market radio station, KBLX. Shout out to KBLX. Different owners now. The Quiet Storm. And I'll never forget, I told this story once before. I was dating the first guy I ever dated who was crazy, who went kind of crazy on me. He was older than me. When I could see the craziness coming out, I broke it off. He did not like that. He sent our sales department notes that the guy that works on the overnight shift, me, is going around, sleeping around with everybody on the UC Berkeley campus. He really disparaged my name. And he called my father and made the same claims to my father that because I was going to college at UC Berkeley, and told my dad, who didn't know I was gay at the time, that I was running around the campus, sleeping with every guy on the campus. I won't even go into the drama that all caused, because we don't have time for all that. But what I will say is, in relation to this, is my program director, Kevin Brown, called me in. I was the lowest on the totem pole at this major market. He could have just said, pack your bags, get out. We never want to see you. He actually took me, I said, let me tell my side of the story, believed me, and said, don't worry about it. We've got your back. And
that's
we're talking
wonderful.
the sales department talking to our sales team, and everything's based on the sales department on a radio station because that's where the money comes in.
Yeah.
So the stakes were high. All I have to say is myself and many of the stories I had got second chances. It doesn't look like Spectrum's going to bring back Erick Adame anytime soon.
And I honestly, I don't know. If all the alleged issues are true, then I don't blame them. Yes, no one should be sending anybody's revenge porn out into the world, especially not to your parents. That is the lowest of the low, just like Oz said in the comments. But I don't see how they can bring him back to the show in good faith because he had basically it's an altercation with one of his coworkers. So yeah.
What else are people saying?
Oz also goes on to say everyone takes nude pics from time to time. People need to get over it already. And private life happenings, while not on company time, is not company business. But to my point, when you bring in one of your coworkers into your private life and they don't know about it, then that is an issue. Blake goes on to say that that the weatherman, what's his name again?
Erick Adame.
Yes.
All right, I was reading the questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Erick had gone on to do an interview with MSNBC Live last night, and he put the link into the chat, so we can also post that on TAGSPodcast. So I can't wait to see that. Thank you. And Oz goes on to say, and how different would the alleged boss's name be if he was having a private conversation off camera and someone happened to record audio of him? He says CNN, the guy, he was on the clock, so he was wrong. All right. And then should I keep going?
Sure.
He also says that Steve, in your situation, you were the victim, and that guy had no right to put your private life out there. And supposedly he's Erick Adame. That's what keeps me messed up, is because Adame is like, I think of that as the first name. I don't know why. I'm just getting a mixed
Erick Adame.
Yes, he's supposedly suing the site LPSG to find out who did the screenshot and hold them accountable in some way.
Yeah.
But LPSG, from what I understand, they are able to find out who actually took the screenshot.
The IP address, right?
The IP address, and they can track all of that. But it's an undergoing investigation at this time. So we have yet to see how this is going to turn out. And I hope that Erick Adame, I got his name right.
Okay. Yeah.
is going to get his justice, and that everything will turn out okay for him. That's what I really hope.
Yeah. Apparently he got, according to his PR rep, that he got an offer for another weather opportunity, meteorologist opportunity. He turned it down because he was, during that same interview, he was hoping to get his job back at Spectrum, which doesn't look like at the end of this article that is likely to happen. So, he may want to take some of these early offers. I don't know. But people have come back from far worse than this. I think if the pictures come out and it's alleged to what we're saying, there could be more problems. But still, you are allowed to want to get fucked by your boss. I mean, it's not the worst thing.
It is not the worst thing, but when you put it out there on social media, into a public platform, then it turns into a whole nother thing. So. And I hope he gets help for his compulsions as well. So I really hope he addresses that.
All right, moving on. But in similar hemisphere lines, a man's boss accidentally sent sexting texts into a work group chat, and Twitter had a field day with it all. So, we've all sent wrong messages to the wrong person before. Mine are like, I'm going to the grocery store, and I sent it to like my mom. It's so boring. I typically do not send a lot of sexting because of this. Twitter user Frankie Velli shared a photo with the caption, "Dude, my boss just sent this to the work group chat on accident." And in
Oh
it, the
no,
selfie,
girl.
presumably of his boss, a Snapchat caption was added, which read, quote, "I love a faggy little submissive boy. Tongue emoji. I am your master."
What in
That
the
in the
that
group chat,
Mercury
in the name of
retrograde?
group chats. First of all, I hate group chatting anyway, as you know, Cody. I don't know if you know that, but I
Oh,
just
I know.
I'm not a group chatter, so I'm not going to make this mistake very much. Yes, it sounded like Frankie Valley, Blake, but it's Viello, something like that. But beyond that, Cody, this reminded me of you recently because you had said
How?
you love to
Uh-uh.
send dirty pics to
I
your
do.
boyfriend.
I
I
do.
and I found out a recent stat that apparently 1 in 6 people have sent the wrong text dirty to the wrong person. And this is a recent study that says the average American has accidentally sent 6 intimate messages or photos to the wrong person, according to a new poll. So that's kind of high, right?
Did you say 1 in 6?
The average American has accidentally sent 6 intimate messages or photos to
Oh.
the wrong person.
How? Oh no, no, no,
Yeah.
no.
So, and
That
you are
I am
always
not
sending things
included
to
in that
Joe.
statistic. I am not
You are a
included in that
stat. I
statistic.
think you are a stat.
I am not. I'm a stat in
This
other ways,
I
not in
know
this
too.
way.
Have you ever sent an intimate picture or a dirty message to the
Never.
wrong? Never.
Never,
Can
ever,
Your
ever have I
Honor,
ever. And knock on wood. You can
she's
take me to
lying. Your
court.
Honor, she's lying.
Take me to Judge Joe Brown. I don't know. Take me to whomever you want to. I have never ever done it, and I don't. I hope to never. That I never
Never have
do
I
because
ever.
I would not be drinking right now. Because that's the first thing that you check is that you're sending it to the right person. I could understand if they were sending it to in a group chat, and maybe that person that they're sending it to is in the group chat so that is a common mistake that I feel like would happen. But for me personally, before I hit send, I always make sure that the person that's the recipient is the person that I intend a sexy picture to go to. I text people the wrong thing all the time.
Oh, I do
But
too. Yeah. You know what? Good word, spoken like a good life coach, of course. But you're right. If I'm about to send, which I don't send a lot of sexting to people because I really don't like being on the phone that much
okay.
unless I have to. But if I am going to, I am double, triple checking my work
Oh yes.
because, and then going back one more time, taking a sip of coffee, and then checking it. Okay,
And
is
then
this
30
the
minutes
person
later.
that I really want to send to? And then I hit it because I'm so freaked out about that kind of shit that I couldn't handle it. I
And
would.
also, something that Joe and I do because we sometimes send them when I'm at home or he's out in public and things of that nature. I could be with my mom. You never know. I send it with invisible. We make sure to send it with invisible ink, and that way, if
Okay, now you're showing off. I need a class. Don't tell me how to do invisible ink now, but can you please tell me how
I'll
to do
come and
that
show you.
soon?
I'll show you how to do it. That way, whoever is around them will not see the dirty picture that they just sent. He actually sent me a dirty picture when I was with my mom, and he sent it wrong at first, and then he deleted it within 2 seconds. And I was like, why did he just delete that? And then he sent it again with invisible ink. So
Oh my God, I've never heard of invisible. Do I have invisible ink on my phone?
yeah, you do.
They put invisible ink on this phone?
Yes, girl.
Oh, I didn't know
I can
that.
show you how to do it. It's very
Okay.
easy.
You know, we had an early guest back in the day, I think episode number 3. We're at 401, Stephen Gabriel, and he told the story way back when where he was on a group chat with his family, including his
Oh
mother,
no. Mm-mm.
and thought he was sending a nudie to a boy, and it went into the group chat of his family. And we said, "Oh my God, what did you do?" He said, "I turned my phone off, powered it off, and climbed under my bed and put the covers over my head."
I cannot imagine. I would.
And then he ended up like coming up for air finally and saying, didn't mean it. Ha ha. Don't look at the picture that's coming through." And I
Oh
said, "And your
no.
mother?" He said, "My mother is not really good on social media, so she like didn't know how to check it, and it was all good."
He lucked out because
But the
that could have
family
turned out
still, I
so
think,
wrong.
saw it, I
You
think.
think
And so,
so? Oh no.
yeah. Alan says, "Is there invisible ink on cheap-ass Android phones?" Oh, we can't help you there, girl.
I don't know how to use that. That's some green bubbles. No, I'm just
Don't be
joking,
talking
Alan.
to
I
us
love you,
about the flip
Alan.
phones.
No phone shaming here. Yeah, I'm sure. Come, we can work it out, Alan. We'll work out a tutorial for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't be promising what you can't deliver,
I
girl.
mean, if he's in the New York area, I will hold a class for
Okay.
it. All right.
I
Welcome to
like
my TED Talk on sexting.
I guess. All right. Well, this is exciting because Out TV has a brand new reality show, and I think you guys are all going to like it. I don't know. I'm on the fence. It's called X Rated. It's a
What?
new reality show that follows New York City porn stars as they loudly argue in public. Here's the deal. Out of the 4 porn stars, 2 of them have been on this show. And I'm talking about Dante Cole, who I interviewed, who was really lovely. I had a huge crush on him. And he's I think he's bisexual, he goes by.
Okay.
And of course, Boomer Banks, who's been on when we used to do the live streams at Rebar here in New York City. And he was guested on our show as well. 2 out of 4 isn't bad, but also
We doing good.
Max Connor
I
rounds
love.
it out, who I like a lot, as well as Joey Mills, who bills himself as the number 1 twink, or something to do with like a twink. But I have to tell you, I watched this trailer. I will post this on TAGSPodcast.com. Lots of drama. Everything you look for in a reality show, following the lives, some dick pics, or not dick pics, but dicks in the trailer.
Wait, what?
And yeah, did you watch the trailer?
I watched it on YouTube. Wait a minute. I got to go back and watch another trailer with dicks.
So here's the thing about this. As much as I'm here for it, and I know you just got an Out TV subscription I'm going to be coming over and watch, or you're coming over here.
Yeah, either one. We can do either one.
I just think it looked. We all know reality TV's contrived, but you're going to tell me that these 4, one of which moved here from Malibu, Dante Cole, and is now hanging out with these 3 guys. It seems totally improbable. One of the scenes is at the New York Eagle, which I'm at all the time. It looked like it was for the Mr. Eagle contest. And at one point, some random ass twink runs up to Boomer Banks and says, "Hey, cunt."
We gotta
talk. We gotta talk. In which case, Boomer's like, "Oh, bitch, who's this bitch? Who's this twink?" Somebody screams, and people in the background, because it is a spectacle. At which point, Boomer's like, "Oh, and gives the hand, and they carry the twink away in the air, off outside, in which everyone's face is aghast. And I just think, really, this seems so contrived and made up, but I'm secretly here for it, Kodi. I gotta watch it. I mean, I gotta watch it. Oh, I'm so down for it. You're coming over. Me too. I'm ordering pizza. Yeah.
Fab. Sounds like a great night. I can't wait. We watched me and my boyfriend Joe, we watched the trailer together. He was like, "I don't want to watch this." I was like, "Well, babe, I'm gonna watch it. I don't know. You don't have to.
You have to watch it for the show."
I have to watch it. Well, okay. If you say so. We'll use that as an excuse. And then once I said that I was gonna watch it, he was like, oh, if you watch it, then I'll watch it. I was like, you wanted to watch it this whole time and you just didn't want to say that you wanted to watch it. But so we're going to definitely come over and then we can all kiki together and cackle.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a good time. The show looks cute. You have interviewed 2 of the 4 porn stars on the show. So we owe it at least a good 1-2 episode watch.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there.
So the positive, the pros are, I know 2 out of the 4, which I like. One of them, Max Connor, I'm a big fan of. And the other one looks like he's going to bring drama.
Drama, honey. That's what it's all about.
I can go that high. I have a cold, you guys, right now, so I'm fighting this.
You sound great.
But yeah, thank you. I'm drinking tea after the show, but I'm here for this show. It does look a little rinky-dink. In other words, I think at this point in the game that we are so desensitized to reality TV that we expect Housewives level where they throw parties in the $10,000 range. Maybe this will be more down and dirty and just, and be kind of cool.
Dicks in the trailer. Okay, that's what I need. But they need to bring, you brought up the Housewives, they need to bring that wit and the quick fire, rapid back and forth that they have on the Housewives. I think that's what they definitely really need to make this a successful show. I wonder if they need a writer or a manipulator.
What would Boomer Banks' housewife intro tagline be?
Oh, something about inches, because
I give you the boom and I'm here for the bank because I go all the way to the cash. Something to you know what? We're gonna have to come up with our house next week assignment is Housewives tagline.
Okay, for me and for you, and for Boomer Banks.
We're giving ourselves a week though.
Because it takes a lot. It takes a village.
Yeah, we got a show to do here. All right, we've got to move on and come. This story I know you didn't really want to do it, Kodi, but it follows a writer that we've been talking about, Alexander Chiviz, who has really been talking about the number of different ways to eat ass. Then he was talking about the different ways to give a blowjob. Now he's talking about 12 ways to ask your boyfriend for a threesome. Queer men have a tendency not to be monogamous, he writes. Long liberated from heteronormative ideals like the nuclear family, 2-person monogamous relationships and marriage, gay men have been pioneers of the non-traditional relationships for generations. And some of these mean open relationships and semi-open relationships.
Okay.
So he's here to give some of the top 12 ways to have threesome talk. Keep in mind, he says, that open and honest communication above all else is the most vital feature of a good relationship.
Yes.
So
I agree with that.
Excuse me. So what he says here is, hey babe, number 1, hey babe, maybe we should get a joint Grindr account. The simple fact of a biological evolution predicts that at some point it will become hard to focus on you and only you. Humans aren't designed that way. Thousands of years of evolution have taught us to be promiscuous. So you can, I guess, according to this, get a joint Grindr account.
Okay.
If there's things like you've always wanted to try DP, this would be a really good time to talk about getting a threesome, correct, Kodi? Because you can't, unless you're using a dildo.
Not correct, Kodi.
Yes, correct, Kodi.
If that is the path that you want to go down. So, okay, you said that I didn't want to do this story. It's not that I don't want to do this story. It's that I don't necessarily agree with this article. You can't put limitations on someone's relationship based on the expectations that you have on your relationship. It's not it's not one size fit all. So that was my point.
He's giving tips though on how to have that discussion, and oftentimes it's just one out of the 2 in a couple that wants to approach this. And it doesn't even mean that you're going to go through with it. It just means that you're going to have that conversation. And as we all know, Kodi, relationships go through different periods and it's not always the same sexually. So the conversation could come up. And if it does come up, these are some of the top ways you can ask your boyfriend for a threesome. So with that, do you agree with some of the things that he put in this article? Did you read it?
I read the entire article.
What are one of the ones that stood out for you that you wanted to?
Asking and telling, because I think that communication is the most important part as far as being able to be vulnerable with your partner is so important in a relationship. Because if you can have sex or you can give your butthole to your partner, then you are willing and you can't ask for what you want in the relationship, then that is very telling for your relationship. Because giving yourself, having sex with your partner is one of the most vulnerable things that you can do in a relationship. So you should be able to ask for anything that you want in a relationship, but you should not, and I'm going to say it again, you should not let someone else tell you what your relationship should be.
No, absolutely. No, you definitely should not. Absolutely. One of the ones that I think you might like this since you love the dance floor. Any gay man who has ever gone to a gay circuit party coming in at number 5, the sandwich move or dance club, knows that navigating the terrain of body cues, nonverbal communication, and subtle cruising is an art form in itself. So put your relationship with your newish boyfriend into that mix and you have a whole new set of signals to read. So he firmly believes that dancing in a sea of gay men is one of the best experiences a gay can have. And doing so with your boyfriend can be immensely romantic, erotic, particularly once you get those early jealousies out of the way. People will always get jealous, particularly in relationships, and jealousy shouldn't be feared. You want your boyfriend to get jealous and you want yourself to get jealous. The trick to navigating jealousy is to communicate through it, talk about it and acknowledge it, understand it, and work through it as a couple to the point that you can enjoy circuit parties in those sea of dancing, horny gay men without a problem. I like this one a lot because I think it could even move beyond the dance floor too. Whether it's a circuit party, it could just be going out, whether it's gay pride, where there's a sea of men. I think these are things that healthy jealousy could be a good thing.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And as a jealous person, this actually has a lot of applications for me because it states that you shouldn't let jealousy rule your relationship, or that the way to get past it and to get over it is by communicating it in an effective way. Because if you let the rage and all that kind of stuff build up inside of you, then that is when it becomes destructive. But if you communicate it in an effective way, then that is how you overcome the jealousy. So I agree with you. But let somebody touch my boyfriend in a club. That is how people lose a hand. That's how I wind up on When Women Kill.
Oh my goodness.
That is a big no-no. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. And avoid things like number 9, where he says, Jason, one of my old fuck buddies, told me he thinks you're hot. Be careful when choosing a third from your list of previous playmates.
Yeah.
He says, I know many couples whose third-party playmates are previous fuck buddies and even previous boyfriends. I applaud these couples because their communication skills must be strong, but I think it could be kind of dicey to go down that road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a previous connection with that person.
Right.
That is the road to ruin, I feel like. And yeah, I think that I forgot what I was going to say. But Oz says that you should take responsibility for your own jealousy and not blame others or hold others accountable for your emotions. And I think that is excellent advice.
I like that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'll post this.
I remember now. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Have you seen those memes where it's about the it's a couple and they're basically saying, me and my boyfriend saw you from across the bar? And have you seen those memes?
No.
Oh my God, they're hilarious. I have to send you a couple.
Oh, I like that though.
Yeah,
is it really a way to kind of send somebody like that you're interested?
It's kind of a joke. It says this happens all the time in the gay community, and because me and my boyfriend, we saw you from down the bar, and it's like Zac Efron and some other
Oh,
guy.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
I've definitely flirted with guys on the dance floor that are in a couple
Hmm.
that I thought, oh, yeah. And sometimes you get lucky and you're into both of them, and that's
Yeah.
pretty hot. Sometimes just one, which is always the dicey thing of all threesomes, beyond this 12 ways to ask your boyfriend, is that when you're a third outside of that
Yeah.
relationship, you're only interested in one, not the other.
Yeah. That's
It's just,
tough.
that's the way it always works out. So,
So yeah, I'm a huge proponent of being the special guest star. We've discussed this
right.
ad
We have,
nauseam.
yeah.
I love being the special guest star, but now there's no guest stars in my bedroom, darling. Not
Oh,
currently.
not
Not
currently.
currently. I'm open to making to our relationship evolving, but at this
Right.
moment in time, that's never not where I'm at. So
I
yeah.
hear you. All right. Anything else anyone
So
say? Oh, go ahead.
Oz says acknowledge the external triggers and discuss them at length, and then consider possible steps forward towards resolution. He sounds like a life coach. What is going on?
Ooh,
He
okay. I
is.
know.
I love it. And then he goes on to say, being in the middle is the best part.
Okay. Yes.
And
Sandwich
I
mode.
agree. Being in the middle, oh, it's the best. And DPing a guy is
Oh,
so much
that's fun. Yes. I like those things too. Reasons to consider having a three-way. But check this out. I'll post it on TAGSPodcast.com. Moving on, Redditors reveal the skeeziest things they've done to check out a hot dude. This definitely got my attention as I've been there. It's only natural to lose your senses when a hot guy is around. And after all, they write, science tells us the blood flow to the brain gets diverted elsewhere. Some gay guys have surprised themselves with their lecherous behavior, and they're sharing their stories on Reddit. The confessionals kicked off after one user asked, what's the skeeziest thing you have done that you felt was out of character for yourself to get a look at a hot guy? The original poster coughed up his own story. Quote, I once followed a really hot dude walking his dog because I knew he would have to bend over to pick up his dog's business at some point, and it worked. Somebody said they used a wheelchair. I use a wheelchair, so sometimes if a guy is really, really cute, I'll ask to help to get to the other side of a ramp, even if it's not that steep. Okay. I work
Yeah.
at a register and I saw a really hot guy walking up to the first register where my coworker was. And I said, hey, sorry, she's on break. Come to my register. As soon as he left, she laughed her brains out. Oh, this is a good one. I was riding my bike past a construction site. The guy there was shirtless because it was 86 degrees or more. I hit the curb and almost fell off the bike because I was staring at him. Well, let me tell you, here in New York City, particularly all summer long, and this summer was no different than any other ones, especially post pandemic that we've been, or I should say post lockdown. I can definitely get distracted by a hot guy and will go out of my way sometimes to go from one. It's easy because most of New York is a grid, Manhattan. And so it's easy. It's like, oh, wait, I know where I'm going, but this super hot guy, I want to just walk behind him a little bit more because he's so hot. And I will,
right.
or that chest, or those legs, or that face is killing me. And it's not unheard of for me and to change my path and go a different direction to walk behind somebody and drool practically. So while they're picking up the business, they should be picking up my drool too, because I'm drooling all the way. And yeah, the other story that I had though was back in the day when I first moved here in 2008. I worked out at a gym called David Barton. And every Sunday, because I didn't know anybody, so there was no Sunday fun day for me at that time because I was new in town, fresh meat.
Okay.
And I would go to David Barton, and every Sunday, like clockwork, Anderson Cooper was on the treadmill as I was coming into the gym. And I was convinced he saw me. And lo and behold, one day, so I would go there at the same time, and he would be there. And was pretty sure he saw me. Then one day I'm working out on legs and I'm at the calf machine. And a guy says, "Excuse me, can I work in?" Well, it's a Sunday, and who's working in on a calf machine when it's Sunday night at 6 p.m.? But it was Anderson Cooper, and I said, "Sure, of course." He
Wow.
he said, "Oh, by the way, I'm Anderson," and I said, "Oh, yes, I know."
I totally think you're his type too.
So I later followed him into the locker room after I knew I'd been in the locker room for a while, because I knew he showered, with my business card, and he was coming in a towel out of the shower, and he said hi again, and I said, "Oh, I wanted to give you my card." And he said, "Oh, thank you." And he asked more about, this is when I had a different site and I was doing different work.
Mm-hmm.
He never called. It never worked out, but we did have a conversation. It was very sweet, and I stalked him to get a look at him in the locker room. So that's
wow. You could have been a real housewife of New York.
I know. Damn it. But I'd have to be a stepfather, which I'm not ready to do. Because
you do what you gotta do. Okay. All right. For Anderson Cooper.
What are some of your things?
You literally stole all of mine. I will walk past. We're like totally aligned today, because we had the whole Out TV thing, and then this. I have all the same ones. I will walk past where I need to go. I could be walking past my house, walking to my house, and then before I met Joe, but of course, I will follow the guy to wherever he's going, and then watch that booty from behind, because that's what I'm all about. And then the gym. I used to always birdwatch at the gym, and I would ask them to work in. I would ask them if they need a spot. I would always just do what I had to do in order to get just a hair closer. I used to work out at Crunch. It's the old David Barton, and they changed it into Crunch on 23rd Street, and that was prime cruising area.
That's the David Barton one that I worked out at before.
Exactly. Yeah, but now that one's closed. So, but that's neither here nor there.
It's a definite great way, the gym, for sure, here in New York and major cities where people walk around. But if you are always in a car like in LA, you don't get that, I think.
Yeah.
Or the subway, or I mean, I remember being on the subway. You can totally cruise, guys, and it's really fun too.
Yeah, I've ridden past my stop on the subway. But speaking of being in a car, if you're in a car and you're driving, right, and have you ever circled a block to see a hot guy again? I've totally done that.
I have not been driving in years, so no. But I do have a friend. I do have a friend in the Bay Area, San Francisco, that recently saw a really sexy guy on the highway, on the freeway, and the guy was flirting back with my friend, and it was a girl, and she said he was like, "Hey," and he's flirting and screaming, 80 miles an hour they're going, and she went on missed connections on Craigslist.
Yeah.
And he actually wrote something like, "Hey, it was on this freeway. Was that you?" And I think they were going to meet for a drink after that.
They should get married.
It didn't happen, but I think they were going to meet for a drink. I don't know what happened after that, but kind of hot,
Oh no, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
I love meeting like that. I think it's just so unexpected and spontaneous, and I love that type of thing.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, we've got to move on. I was reading a recent Reddit thread as well that said a guy talked about being sexually assaulted at the sauna, and he writes, "On a Friday night I went out to a gay club, then headed to the gay sauna. I had many very positive experiences in the sauna, but this time was different. There was a guy I'd never seen around before who saw me in the shower, and he followed me as I walked downstairs to a different area. I stopped in the corridor and he came up to me and he started touching me all over and tried to kiss me. I was a bit unsure about him and initially tried to gently get away from the situation, but he was persistent and I didn't find him attractive. He directed me upstairs and into a cabin, shut the door, and we started having sex. But at first, this was okay. But soon he started to do things to me that I really didn't want. And I told him no and stop several times, but he just ignored me. And basically, I froze completely. It should have been clear to him that I didn't want to continue, both from what I said and the fact that I stopped participating. He also waited. The guy actually ejaculated all over him and walked out. I waited a moment for him to go somewhere else, and then I headed straight to the shower. He talks about how he was really distraught and went in a corner and kind of cried for a little bit, where an employee asked him, "Are you okay?" which he shrugged off. And he ended up meeting up with two other guys in the bathhouse later, but that stuck with him. In a related post that I couldn't help but notice, a gay comedian revealed he was raped in a sauna too. Adam K, who says he was raped in a sauna when he had just come out. He's
Mhm.
known for he's a writer for the television series This Is Going to Hurt by AMC, American Movie Classics. And he has a new book called The Story of a Medic Who Ran Out of Patients, Undoctored. But he talks about the same thing too, about a guy when he early on going to a bathhouse and being raped, and the guy thanks him at the end of the whole situation, which is really creepy.
So sad.
Um, yeah, but I guess we bring up the story because you often think that a bathhouse is a safe space because who else is
Mhm.
going to go there but other gay men? But consent isn't always discussed. And
Yes.
like Adam Case said in the story that I can let you guys read if you just go to TAGSPodcast.com, he did try, like the other story, what people wrote in the Reddit thread, you need to scream for help. You need to say this is wrong. Adam K tried to, but the music was so pounding loud. And you know how they have it oftentimes in a
Yeah.
bathhouse. It can be really loud. He couldn't be heard even if he was screaming. And so I think we think often these are safe spaces, but people, no, people's intentions, people don't always get the memo. No.
Yes. I agree. This is so horrible, and it probably happens more than one would think. I
Yeah.
know people go to bathhouses to have sex, but your bodily autonomy should never ever be called into question. No
Right.
matter what situation you're in, no matter where you go, you no should mean no at all times. And this person definitely needs to find some therapy or counseling because it is so easy to blame yourself or to fall into the depths of despair when it comes to this type of traumatization. And in order to heal, they're really just going to have to find some help and really deal with this. And it's just really so sad. I really feel for them. My heart goes out to them.
Yeah, and I just think that he went on in that first story to then say he had consensual. See, that's this thing. He went on to have consensual sex with people that he
Yeah.
wanted to, which was his right to do. It was not his right.
Yeah.
And that's where I think we need to tell more of these stories because they're layered. And when you think, oh, well, it was a gay bathhouse, so what? How could
Yeah.
there be any problems in there? No, it's not always consensual sex. People take advantage of people. People don't hear the word no, they hear what they want to
Mhm.
hear. And people need to really take responsibility for their actions when somebody says no. And I've been
Yeah.
at bathhouses before, not anything like this has happened to me, but maybe one too many hands are coming into the mix. And I've had people push my hand away, and I know that means no.
It
I've pushed
means
hand
no.
I've pushed hands away before, and that means no. And I've had people follow me around more than maybe I wanted to, them following me around, but I was able to disseminate the situation. But
Mhm.
I would hate, I couldn't imagine feeling trapped like that. And what
Yeah.
these people that have told their stories, this is rape and this is not okay. And it's not okay to ever cross those lines. And we need
Yeah,
to be
I agree.
tell more stories about this so that you are aware that this can happen, so that
Mhm.
maybe you can find, whether it's finding an out, like make sure the door, I don't know, maybe finding a way so you don't find yourself in these situations, because you don't want to be the victim of somebody's horrible choices.
Yeah. And maybe this person having sex with somebody else afterwards is a trauma response. He was
Oh
probably in
yeah, yeah,
shock.
right, yeah.
You never know. You can't really
Well, I
say,
wanted to say that part of the story because I don't want to victim shame this
yeah,
person.
exactly. Who
He
cares
had
what happened
every right
afterwards?
to have sex, do whatever he wanted to after, but consensually.
Yeah,
It has
exactly.
nothing to do with what happened to him an hour ago or 45 minutes ago, whenever it was.
It's
So,
just so sad.
yeah. And I don't want this to happen to anybody else. And
Exactly.
we need,
Oh,
yeah, go ahead. What are people saying?
Oz Oz says it's time to start carrying rape whistles at the bathhouses, and I think that is a
Oh,
great idea.
wow.
He also goes on to say it took him so long to go to a bathhouse for this very reason. He didn't trust guys' respect for boundaries, and consent is everything. So I 100% agree.
Wow. That's really good
Yeah.
advice. Yeah.
Or maybe there should be a panic button in the rooms. Maybe if
Yeah.
something is going down.
Not a bad idea too. Yeah, because people have told horrible stories about the guy went on. I'll let you read this one because I'll post it. There's a lot to read and check up on. But this guy didn't have either something, he went into the city
Mhm.
and his home was far away. So we actually spent the night there
Yeah.
in the bath. Sometimes people stay longer. There's been reported deaths where people have taken drugs
Yep.
and or people get themselves in bad situations. um Panic buttons, and those people that work there, they're at the front, they can't hear anything that's going on in that
Yeah.
business. I don't want cameras all over the
No
place, but
cameras. No, because
maybe there needs
girl,
to be a better system of policing, or somebody just kind
I
of
agree.
walking around the establishment just to check in and make sure everyone's okay. We're not here to tell you what you should be doing or
Or
judge
shame
at
anyone.
all.
Yeah, no
No,
shame,
but
especially not in a
maybe
bathhouse.
hire. Listen, it costs enough to get to some of these bathhouses to have at least somebody around. Dare I use the word policing, but patrolling
Thank you.
the good neighborhood would be a good job for somebody to have, I think.
Yes, I agree. I would be a volunteer for no, before I met my boyfriend, I would have been a good volunteer for for free membership.
Yes, exactly. And okay, be safe out there as we
Please,
all
guys, be
move.
safe.
Yes, move on. And lastly, our favorite segment that we always like to end up on, it's produced by Straight Up Gay Porn. And they always ask the question, which porn star took the thirstiest, hottest picture of the week? This week's coming in at 20. Big whopping 20. Wow.
I love
That
it.
they put together. Pretty good choices this week, Kodi.
Oh yes, this was a good week for us.
So our job is to kind of is to descriptively tell you why we thought it was, because this does go to an audio podcast. And I want to start off with Con, last name Horror. He goes by Con Horror. I didn't make this up. This is his name. It's the first picture of him. He's on a carpet with his meaty legs spread open, a beautiful crack, a beautiful thick cock,
Fat, so fat.
fat cock, beautiful lips. And I like to go onto their Twitter account to find out a little bit more. And he looks cheeky, fun, and beautiful ass, always spread out. But that thick cock was one of my favorites. But coming in at a hot number second for me, because there was a decent pooling of people, was a guy
Oh,
that
we
goes
picking
by
two?
Loc Rios, LOC
Oh, yeah.
Rios, who has another thick cock that's in your face. He's beautiful, hairy, and it looks like he just took off his underwear, and it's right in his face, like he's inhaling his underwear, which I love dirty, and I love not dirty, I love guys' underwear and guys' socks to sniff and smell. So this worked for me 100%.
Love it. Yeah, those are two good ones.
Inhaler. Which I
If
need
they
the
could
Vicks.
only
I need the Vicks vapor right now, but I will.
is that the equate that smell is the equation of
It's
equates
not.
to
But
big
with I
big
have a
vapor rub?
cold right now, and I'm going right to the tea and Vicks vapor. But when I'm better, I want that underwear and socks.
From a jockstrap. That's what you're gonna do. Oh man. So since we're picking two, my honorable mention is gonna go to K Ecstatic. He's like in
Honorable mention. Okay,
honorable
what?
mention K Ecstatic. KAE
Oh,
Ecstatic. Yes. He's beautiful. He's got a nice big dick, and he's in a blue room. It's just a simple selfie. But my vote is going to go to Sisyphus. You pick the last one, the first one, and I'm going to pick the last one. It's a video, and he
ooh.
is jacking off, and for me it's the moans. He is in a beautiful
Oh,
bedroom, and you have to just watch it. It's so hot. He is a beautiful man. And Sisyphus, come on, parasocial socialite. It's just amazing.
well, as long as we're going with that, I'm going to add in a third.
Oh, okay.
Colin Merp,
Uh-huh.
MERP, is getting a blow job by a guy that I used to follow who's into feet, Lucky Charms, something Lucky Charms.
Okay.
And he says this guy gives the most insane head. And as Lucky Charms is blowing Colin Merp, his eyes are behind his head. He's going
Oh,
crazy.
wow.
And speaking of moans, it really satisfies watching this because we could all deserve that kind of blowjob. And
Hey,
yeah, it's pretty. Nick's Lucky Charms. Thanks, Blake. Blake is our producer. I
he really
mean,
is. He's always in my ear. Thank you so much, Charlotte.
Oz is the life coach of the show when you're off duty and just hosting. Ellen W says con horror, so hot, ass and cock, moppy hair, yum. Blake also says Colin Merp video because Nick, who is giving him head, is really amazing. Yes, right. Oh, right. Yeah,
Everything he
exactly.
said. I love it.
Okay. Well, so much fun. I had a
So much.
blast. Yeah.
Me
Even though I'm a
too.
little under the weather, I'm going to get back into business here. You can always follow Kodi at Mr. Maurice on Instagram. Mr. Maurice, or he's a life coach, y'all, at KMD Coaching. And follow us on all social media platforms, Tags Podcast. And there's a lot of links you can go to tomorrow. I'll get up early and post them all up there. Go to tagspodcast.com for episode 401. Yes, people are going on with the comments. I love it.
Oh
Thanks,
yeah.
guys. In the
Thank you guys
meantime,
so much.
continue having hot, gay
Gay
sex.
sex.